I'll go with Two-Face. So this is Two-Face. So I've just drawn a fairly standard slight upshot of a human. I always start with a regular face first. As a kid, I always liked to draw the transformation of characters. I would draw like a normal face turning into like a werewolf and showing the snout growing larger, or draw like Bruce Wayne first and then draw the mask over his face and see how that looks and see if that differs from how I would just draw Batman if I didn't draw Bruce Wayne first. So start with and then draw that center line that goes down the middle of his forehead, down his nose, down to the middle of his upper lip, his chin, and goes down there. Okay. I spent some time searching through Amazon and finding all the listings of these items, from markers down to the whiteout, if you guys are interested in the supplies, to the 0.4 millimeter. Lead pencils. So in terms of programming, again, for people that are just tuning in the first time, I know some people were surprised. Like, was it Friday? I can't remember. I was not feeling well. But Brittany was on streaming Sims 4, and they're like, "Hey, what the hell? Where's Jim?" So on weekdays during the day, I'm at work. So any of those, I mean, I'm gonna come home for lunch to help out with technical issues. But anything during the day, and I think I'm gonna post up two more for Brit. Those are gonna be just streams that my kids do, and I realized that when the alerts go out, it doesn't include the entire list, the title event for the event itself. So it just says Jim Lee is streaming, and so I guess it's misleading. But I wanted to name the stream something that was recognizable for at least the people that follow my comic career. People that are native to Twitch that don't read comics, that are into creative in general, they might not care really about the name. But I wanted to start with something that already kind of had some built-in recognition. But I wanted always from the start, wanted to diversify kind of what we did on the channel. I could certainly have focus just on streaming art or creation of art, but I do enjoy gaming. That's why I do like this platform. I like the fact that it gives us an opportunity to reach out to people that might be into kind of nerdy things, games, fantasy, sci-fi, all that kind of stuff, and give them an opportunity to kind of broaden what they're watching beyond just gamers. And I like the interactivity of the Twitch channel. So and since I'm going to be gaming with my kids anyway, or they're going to be gaming, I thought I would put that on just as a way to kind of add some value to the stream itself. And also when we game on the weekends, there'll be opportunities for those of you guys that actually game as well to actually group up on some of these games. So if I'm on during the week, it'll be the evenings that I game, like usually like Thursday or Friday night. Oh, I did. I did some of the scarring on the wrong side of the face. Good job, Jim. We all know that this side, it's his left side that's all messed up. It's interesting, all the evil characters back then, in ancient times. When I say ancient times, I'm talking about like the past 50 years or earlier. Even there was a stigma to being left-handed. In earlier primitive days, they thought they were maybe possessed, and they would actually force kids that were natural lefties to write and draw and do things right-handed, and they get punished. So being left was always considered sinister. And I think in the Latin, sinistra, or Italian and Latin, sinistra, means left. And of course, you have the word sinister that comes out of it, Sinestro, the villain, and his ring is on his left hand. Two-Face, the scarring's on his left hand. All good to know if you ever create a villain. He should hold the gun in the left hand, of course. It is weird watching it. And also people that ink, I think they have a tougher time inking left-handed because you can't see what you'd have to ink from the bottom up, I guess. If you ink right-handed, you start in the upper left where you would normally start and ink down this way so you don't smear the ink as you go down. If you did it left-handed, you would be smearing as you continue down. So you got to start down here and go up. Okay, so now the fun part. Kind of where that eyeball would be. And then maybe blowing out this nose, this nostril here. Everything else. Yeah. Of course, I even screwed this up. His mouth should be like this. First sketch of the day. It's the stray icon from Immortal Men right now. The other reason Two-Face is a lot of fun to draw is there's really no way to mess it up, except when you do that. But in terms of the lines you can put on the face, anything kind of works. But I am thinking of structure underneath all these lines. So even if I put a line here, I want the lines to somehow give a sense of circular shape to these, to the sort of the chin, the bulbous chin down here, and this line kind of follows the natural sort of jowl line of the cheek, and then maybe this ear is kind of blown out, meaning some of the flesh is missing, so you see more of the whole of the side of the head. Villains have a very different kind of build. So I'm just basically spotting the shadows. All right, it's going to be under any sort of major protrusion of the head. All right, so you have the socket here. And then this kind of crevice that runs down from the eye to the cheek here. So at TwitchCon, so they have panels probably on people's experiences. Do they have signings? Do people that are do popular Twitchers sit and sign for their fans? I mean, I assume people twitch from the floor, a sort of live twitching from the floor. Oh, anyway, so getting back to this channel, if you don't stream, there will be. I think the art portfolio ones tend to have a little fewer people streaming in. So basically, if there's less people in the room, it'll be just open to all. Because if we don't limit to subs only, at least at this point, the chat flows by too fast, and we have to put into slow mode. When you put into slow mode, I guess you can't. You can comment, and then you have to wait another 2 minutes. You're locked out for 2 minutes, which I think personally I would find very frustrating. For sure. All right. And so you can see the way I use the brush, I will go down this way, like most people would, but then I also push it up as well, so you can kind of go both ways and get pretty good flow. So since I have a lot of black shadows on this side, then now this head is going to cast a shadow across his neck here. I'm going to counter this. If I make a grimace, it's because there's a sharp shoot. Sometimes a sharp pain will kind of travel up my back here. I'm going to counter these shadows here with his tie. If I were Batman, I would just stake out, if I were going to capture Two-Face, I would just stake out the dry cleaners. So when he puts in his special suits that are like patterned on one side, solid or normal on one side, his ties that have split down the middle, I would think that those would stand out. And clearly, he would have to dry clean these things to keep them looking sharp. So that's how I'd capture Two-Face. I would just hang out with the dry cleaners. Yes, I understand that Two-Face could send a henchman. I would just follow the henchman back. Then I would capture Two-Face. That's my Two-Face story, if I ever write one. Batman staking out 24-hour dry cleaning facility. Very short comic? No. Well, there are a lot of dry cleaning places. So, in the same way, I'm sure there are doctors that work on the mob and on villains for a price. There are dry cleaners that have sullied themselves and work for the dark side. I would think Joker and Two-Face would both go to the same dry cleaning facility. And the Riddler, all these guys in suits. Hey, boss, someone just turned in this bright purple suit. Oh, we got this other green suit. It has all these question marks on it. Should we call Batman? What do you think? And the Penguin? Hey, there's this 4'10" suit, and it's really wide in the center, and it smells funny. Kind of fishy. Oh, I'm fat shaming the Penguin. I just said it's really wide in the center. I didn't say anything was wrong with it. Fat shaming. Trying to get me in trouble, Crispy. Junk mail. Just creating a little bit of drama and design, kind of leading the eye across this diagonal shape that I like. Right. Unless you want to get it reviewed, in which case you email it to me. And for you new art to get reviewed, and the format, number of pages, all that kind of stuff. But what? Right, let me ask this: the people that were there are still there. What was the single coolest thing that you did at TwitchCon, or saw, or heard? Was it just meeting other Twitchers, people that you know from the chat channels for the first time? I'm not sure if I even understand exactly what you're saying, but I'm sure I'll just review it. Make sure it makes more sense. Yeah, there's a bit of that. I'm thinking my favorite part of drawing is using the Kleenex and creating these effects. I do it a lot. I just think it looks cool. Doing this. I don't think that many people actually went from this chat. Maybe a handful, 3 or 4. Kind of kicking in. I'm happy for the city of Houston. And I think it kind of... Someone had... Do the roll twice for the Two-Face sketch and make them choose heads or tails and flip a coin to choose the winner. The younger crowd is still tuning in, but maybe for my demographic, people realize like how meaningful those shows were when they were growing up, and so it's kind of cool to see them revisit. So I'm taking this pencil and basically adding a little color in this black and white sketch to his left side. And a shadow underneath here. And leave a little bit of a highlight on that snarl of the lip there. It's pretty subtle. I don't even know if the camera can pick that up. But it's adding color and shadows, if that makes sense. So I'm leaving some areas white, like here, where it will catch a lot of light right there. And maybe a little bit here on the forehead once I get up to here. As he says, as he draws in more details. By the way, my penmanship is just crap. I used to care and be able to do some nice cursive. At this point, it's all block letters and it's just horrible. Alright, so I need another suggestion for another sketch. Oh, so in terms of, reminds me, the other things that you're going to see, aside from my kids gaming on here, and I will game with them as well, so like when we do PUBG, it'll either be me and some of the family, or me and some of you guys out there. But I'm thinking even in terms of the art, there's obviously the art portfolios, this live stream, which has kind of turned into a giveaway and just me sort of sketching requests. But I do want to do some more long form tutorial stuff where maybe I talk about a specific topic like perspective or hands or feet or ways not to draw feet, animals. And then I was thinking even a more long form things where I'm drawing on a page of just pre-recording that and then streaming it live, the recording, and then I would be here and I could just talk over the video and field questions and type into chat if needed, or just talk verbally, orally, as it streams, so I could better interact and answer your questions. So I'm paying attention to the stream the entire time as we're watching kind of myself draw. So that's another idea I had. But really the only times I have to stream are, it seems like the weekend, just given that 50%. You know, I see with people that are full-time Twitchers, they're streaming during the morning hours, right? On weekdays. I don't know if I could even do that. In terms of, you know, I like streaming. I love streaming. It's a lot of fun. But to stream almost every day for hours, I think would be a challenge in terms of content for me. I'm familiar with anime. I don't have a lot of time for a lot of things. I was able to see Blade Runner this week. I thought it was an amazing movie. Amazing, just visually amazing. And the story was really cool. I actually thought they were going to do some story that was very nebulous. And it's a 2 hour, 40-minute movie, and I heard that was the chief complaint or criticism going into it. And as I was watching it, I was like, wow, this is long, but I was digging every minute of it. Just because so much of it dealt with kind of the future. No spoilers here, but it dealt with kind of the future and what life might be like. And, it's a pretty brutal world. But I'm telling you that people from the 1800s might look at our civilization, our inner cities, and go like, oh, that is horrible. I would never want to live in a situation like that.
That's 3.